guys are doing well and having the most incredible day as always. Welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are doing well. In today's video, of course, we are going through all the books I read throughout May. Honestly, I thought that May was a bit of a weird month for me. I mean, I did get through 10 books, which obviously to some of you guys might seem like a lot. Some of you guys might find that's not a lot. I don't really know where you guys stand on how many books you read a month, but I find for me, I tend to read anywhere between like 8 and let's say 12, 13 books, something like that. And this month, I don't know what it was. I think because I am still reading, I cannot believe I'm saying this, but I'm still reading My Great Big Beautiful Life by Emily Henry. I think that book is putting me in a bit of a slump because I'm finding that because I'm annotating that book, I have to be in the mood to get all my annotation supplies out and kind of sit with the light on like at a table and properly annotate. I'm finding that I just don't want to pick that book up. Like I don't want to read it. I don't want to carry on reading it. I'm kind of at that point where it is ruining the book a little bit for me, but I will finish it. I am determined. Anyway, that is besides the point. Basically, all I'm trying to say is that I read 10 books. These are the books I read in a month. Anyway, let's dive into the video. I have my iced coffee at the ready. I also have got, not like you guys need to know, but I also have got the most excruciating tummy cramps right now. You would not believe it. I have got a hot water bottle, which is making me uncontrollably hot at the moment. I just want to curl up into a ball on the sofa, but we need to get this video filmed and ready to rip. So I'm going to stop rambling on. We are going to dive into the books. We've got a mixture. What I will say that I am proud of is that I did finish and continue a bunch of series this month. So that is really good for me because if you guys don't know, I am in the middle of what feels like a million series. So my aim for this year is to finish as many as possible. We're going to go through the 10 books. Let's carry on. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and carry on watching. Okay, so the first book I picked up in the month of May was actually The Crash by Freida McFadden. You guys know that for me, Freida McFadden is an absolute queen. I feel like she is one of those authors that I can pick up a book and I know that I'm going to enjoy it and I will binge it and I can get through it so quickly. So for me, kind of starting with a Freida McFadden book really sets the pace for the rest of the month, if that makes sense. So the first book I picked up was The Crash. This is one of her more recent releases and it's something which I didn't really know much about, if I'm being honest. This book really wasn't what I thought it was going to be and I did enjoy it, I won't lie. However, I did think that at the start it was a little bit more of a slower burn, as in like a lot of her books go from 0 to 100 very quickly. This one was a little bit more buildable and it kind of gave you a bit more time to think about what you think is going to happen. So this one I actually rated, let me just check on my notes. I gave this one a 4-star. So this one was basically about a girl called Tegan who is very heavily pregnant. You find this out right at the beginning. You do find out kind of where and how that happened, if you know what I mean, because she is a single woman. She doesn't have like a relationship or anything, so you kind of do learn along the way how she became pregnant and things. I mean, obviously not how, but you guys know what I mean, kind of who the dad is and things like that. Anyway, she basically then gets in her car and gets into a bit of an accident, hence the crash, and she ends up basically being rescued by a man who takes her home to his wife to kind of like almost nurse her back to health and then send her on her way. That is all I can tell you because anything else will spoil it. The one thing I will say is that I didn't expect the plot twist or the kind of the bad guy to be the bad guy. Does that make sense? Like it did shock me. It did keep me on my toes. As I said, I gave it a 4-star, so I did really enjoy it. It was not a 5-star read by any means. Like it wasn't as good as The Housemaid or anything like that, but I did love the kind of bizarre twists and turns that this book took me on, and yeah, that's why I gave it a 4. So that is book 1 that we read in May and I would highly recommend. I really enjoyed that one. The next book I picked up in May was With You Forever by Chloe Leese. This one is part of the Bergman Brothers series, which I believe is a 7-book series. I think, I cannot remember actually which one this is. I feel like this must be book 4 or book 5. I feel like I've read quite a few of these now. This one, I won't lie to you, do I remember a single thing about this book? Honestly, I don't. All I remember is it's about Rooney and it's about Axel, and it's just another segment to this really massive series. I'm finding the books very samey in this series now. Like I'm not differentiating them. Is that the right word? I hope so. Differentiating them. I can't really tell the difference between like this one and the previous one. Like they're all kind of merging together. But I will hold the back of this one up if you guys want to have a read and you can sort of see what the book was about for yourselves. I don't want to sit and just read the back to you, but yeah, honestly, there is no ounce of this story in my brain. I gave this one a 2-star. I did listen to this one on audiobook, so that could be why I maybe didn't love it as much. I've also just noticed this one is the 4th in the series. It has a giant number 4 on it, so that is the 4th one out of 7 done and completed. But yeah, I cannot remember what this book was about. I really don't remember. I think I read, was it this one? It must be this one. Were they already married? Or was that the previous? This is what I mean. I cannot remember what this one was about, and the back isn't really giving anything. Literally no idea. So this was a 2-star. I do like this series. I'm finding that kind of listening to it on audiobook is enjoyable, but it is a series. This sounds awful, but it is a series that once I've read it, I probably won't ever remember it ever again. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, this was a 2-star. Not my fave, and I'm so sorry there is no description of this book, but I just have, there's no ounce of my brain left. Honestly, I cannot remember a single thing. The next book I picked up, I'm not gonna lie to you, is probably the book I was the most disappointed with, and that is The Wedding Witch by Erin Sterling. And I was mainly disappointed with this one because I remember really enjoying books 1 and 2, and this is the 3rd in that series, and I feel like I kind of had really high hopes for, you know, the end of the series to be really, really good, but this was just really, I don't want to say boring, that's not the right word, but it was a 270 page book where they went basically from strangers to being absolutely like feral in love with each other. Do you know what I mean? Like there wasn't enough build up, there wasn't enough tension. It literally went from 0 to 100 in a blink of an eye, and I just didn't love that. So that is why I just didn't like this book, to be honest. And also the kind of plot of this book was just a bit weird. So basically in this one, you've got Bowen and you've got Tamsin. Bowen hires Tamsin to basically find him all these magical artifacts to do a big spell. I won't spoil it, but it's to do this big spell. And so she basically goes to work for him, and she actually ends up taking another job, which he told her not to do, but she took another job to go and find this artifact in this big mansion, and they end up kind of getting sucked back in time. It's all a bit weird, and I feel like the premise of the book was really fun and unique, but I just feel like because it was only, you know, 270 pages, it just didn't give us enough. Like I feel like it was just rushed, and I couldn't world build much of it. It was kind of that kind of thing, but also it felt like it took me ages to read, which I feel like was a bit weird. So I give this one a 2-star as well. It wasn't my favourite, and I'll be real, by the time I got to like 250 pages, like I was skimming because I was just so bored. I didn't want to read any more of it. It was just not exciting to me. So yeah, I gave this one a 2-star, which is a shame, but I did finish off the series, so gold star for me, quite impressed with myself. The next book I absolutely loved, and that was The Happy Ever After Playlist by Abby Jimenez. I had a feeling that I was going to love this book simply because of the characters featured and the sort of plot line of this book. I just knew instantly I was probably going to love it. This one was about Sloane, and Sloane is mentioned in book 1, and if you've read book 1, you probably know why you would have wanted to read book 2, because it ends on such a insane ending that I knew I wanted to pick up the second book. So this is the second book, and it was just so good. So basically Sloane finds this dog, and she ends up like calling the owner, being like, your dog is like randomly in the street, like I've got your dog now, come and get it, whatever. And it turns out that the dog's owner is actually a famous musician. They end up kind of talking on the phone a lot because he's actually on tour, so she ends up keeping his dog for a while, and then like they sort of meet, and it kind of goes from there. It was just so good. The writing style was fun, the kind of vibes was amazing. It was so quick, but also it was like so deep rooted, if that makes sense. Like it was so descriptive but so quick, and I flew through it. This one is only 300 and I think 60 pages or something, and it just felt like it was 50 pages and I read it. Like it was just incredible. Obviously for that reason I gave this one a 5-star. I wasn't shocked, to be honest, but I did love this one a lot more than the first one. I think I gave the first one 4-star or 3, the Friend Zone, I can't quite remember. But yeah, this one was incredible, and I just loved it. Like it was just perfect. A perfect example of a great romance book. That's all I'm going to say. It was so good, and I highly recommend. So yeah, this one was a 5-star. It just made me just love this, and I think I have got one more in this series to read, which is Life's Too Short or something, which hopefully I can read ASAP. Next up is another book by Abby Jimenez, and that is Yours Truly. This is part of Your World Just for the Summer series, and because I've read this and I already read book 1 and book 3, I also completed this series this month, which I'm so impressed with. So the brief synopsis of this one, you've got Brianna and you've got Jacob. Now Brianna's brother basically needs a kidney donor. He's in hospital, he is not very well, and Brianna is a doctor, and then you've got Jacob, who is also a doctor in the same hospital, and he basically, like, one way or another, he finds out that his kidneys are a perfect match for her brother. So he decides, do you know what, I'll give him one of my kidneys. I just don't want to tell anybody, like, I don't want it to be a big thing. And he ends up helping her out by giving him one of his kidneys, and it just kind of goes from there. It also is a fake dating trope in a way as well, which was really fun. I did really love this one. I gave it a 4-star. I don't think it was as good as this one, if I'm being honest. This one just hit me in all the feels and I loved it. This one was really, really good, and I did enjoy my time kind of reading it, getting to know the characters. It just wasn't as good, hence why giving it a 4-star. But I don't want to tell you guys too much more about this book or this series, because it is like slightly interconnected and you do see snippets of other characters throughout, but it was so good and I just highly recommend. I would recommend reading them in order. Don't do what I did. I actually read just for the summer, I think like last year sometime. I didn't even realise it was part of a series, so I had to read books 1 and book 2 after. But it was really good. I've enjoyed all of them, and I think this whole series was like a, what was it, like a 4-star, 4-star, 5-star, I think. Did I give the first one a 4-star? I feel like I probably did. So it was a really good series, would highly recommend. It was fab. I loved this one. The next book I read was actually a novella, and that was Bucking Ever After Volume 1. This is part of the Emily Rath series, which is the Jacksonville Ray series. It's basically an incredibly spicy hockey romance, and it was just a little novella. I think it was like 100 pages or 100 and something pages. Like, it was very, very teeny weeny, and it was just really good. This one was a 3-star read. It wasn't obviously as good as a full book, but it was just a good little addition. I didn't even realise that I needed to read these until my friend Kendall was like, babe, you gotta read these before you read the next book, because the next book was on my TBR for May. I didn't get to it, spoiler alert, but I did want to read this one before reading that one. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm rambling on. Anyway, I read this one. It was really good. Again, a 3-star. I'm not going to tell you anything about it because I can't, because it was spoil book 1, but it basically carries on from book 1, and it's almost like a... Carrying on from book 1 isn't the right way to describe it, to be honest. It's more kind of like extra bonus content. It reads in a bit of a weird way, because it reads like a chapter, and it will say at the start, like, this scene happens like after chapter 4 in book 1, blah blah blah, and it kind of does it like that. So it's almost snippets and random segments of the book, but also you do get some after the first book snippets as well. I hope that makes sense. I can't really tell you much more about the book because it's like there's nothing to tell. It will give it all away. So that is that one. I gave it a 3-star. It was good. It was a novella. I feel like I can't really talk too much about it, but it was nice. Similarly to that one, I also read Out of the Gate by Elsie Silver. This is a novella you are supposed to read after book 1 in the Off to the Races series, but I actually have read books 1 and book 2 and I didn't realise, so I also downloaded this one, and I thought, you know what, it's another little novella, let's just read it and let's see kind of any more information that I'm missing. This one was about Dermot, and I want to say the girl's name was Ava. I have a feeling, and I believe, I could be so wrong right now, but I believe these were parents of some of the characters. I'm not actually too sure, but this one, I liked this one as well. I gave this one a 3-star. It wasn't my favourite, and I feel like it did give me extra info that was really nice to read, but I don't think it was really necessary either. It was kind of one of those things, like, I'm glad I've read it, but I don't think I need to like recommend anyone to read it. Does that make sense? Like, it was nice, and I feel like if you are like me and you want to read every little snippet, like, go ahead and read it, but it is not kind of a definite like you have to read it kind of thing. So that is how I sort of stand with that one. It was good. It wasn't great. The only thing about this book that I feel like people wouldn't enjoy, and for me, I read a lot of dark romances and things, so like it doesn't really bother me to an extent, but there is a big age gap between both characters, and it is kind of one of those things where the guy is older and he does see the girl grow up, and it is a little bit like, you knew her when she was like 4. Like, it is a bit weird, but also nothing obviously happens until they're both of age, so it is one of those. Anyway, it was a good book. Again, I gave it a 3-star. It was a nice little segment to the story and to the series, but I don't feel like it is 100% necessary for you guys to pick it up. Do you know what I mean? I feel like I can't really tell you much more about it. I have got pins and needles in my foot. Oh my goodness, I cannot feel anything below my knee right now. I think I've sat on my foot for far too long. One sec. Ouch. Anyway, ramble over. This book was good. It's not a necessity. let's move on. Next up, we have another book which technically completes a series for me, and when I say completes, I mean the next book of the series isn't out yet, so I don't own it, it is not available, therefore I have technically completed it for the time being, and that is The Strawberry Patch Pancake House by Laurie Gilmore. This one I gave a 3-star. Like every other book in this series, I have given this one a 3-star as well. It was good, it's just not my favourite series. Like I feel like these are fun reads and I would, you know, like pick this up on holiday, or if you're kind of wanting a book that's really easy to read, there's not much drama, not much tension, not much like emotion, like these are really good books to go for. Again, it just something about this series, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that I'm not obsessed with the characters as much as I am in other books, maybe, I'm not sure. This one was really sweet though. So this one was about Archer and about Iris. Now Archer is a single dad and he has a little girl, and she was so sweet. I can't even remember what her name was. Was it like Olivia or Olive? Olive. That was her name. And she was really, really sweet, like not annoying at all. She was like a perfect book child, if that makes sense. And he basically is a single dad, a very recent single dad, as in like he found out he was a dad and then there was a child because his partner, well, not partner, but his daughter's mother passes away right at the beginning of the book. It's not a spoiler, and he's basically given the child like, surprise, you're a dad, here's your 5-year-old little daughter or whatever. Anyway, I feel like I'm rambling on, but essentially he hires Iris to be a nanny because he has like no idea what to do. He works basically full time, he's a chef, and he just needs like a helping hand, so she moves in to be like a stay-at-home nanny with Olive, and it kind of goes from there. It's a nanny single dad romance. Like it was a really nice story, it was fun, it was spicy, and it was just really sweet, but I wouldn't say it's a book that I'm ever going to probably think about again. That's kind of how I feel. So a 3-star. But what I will say though, the cover, so cute. Just this whole series, the covers are beautiful. That is one thing I will say. The next book was a Dream Girl Drama by Tessa Bailey, and when I tell you I was so disappointed with this book, I absolutely loved The Au Pair Affair, which was the second one in this series. The first one was Fangirl Down, which I thought was like okay, but The Au Pair Affair was so good, and I was just hoping that because this one came after that, it would also have that same feeling, but it just didn't hit the same. It wasn't great, I didn't love it. So much so, I actually gave this one a 2-star. A 2-star. I feel so horrible saying that, but I just didn't like it. The characters were almost insufferable. I just found that, I can't even describe this book. It was just annoying. Basically, you have, what even is his name? I don't even know. Sig. I didn't like that name either. So his name is Sig, her name was Chloe, and essentially they meet. They have this like incredible one-night stand, and then, oh, surprise, my dad's actually marrying your mum. They both sort of find that out at the same time, and they're like, oh, that's insane. But also, I'm like already in love with you, and it is so, it's just like insta love vibes, and I just hate that. I don't mind it in a dark romance when it's almost like an obsession kind of love, like I almost enjoy that aspect, but this was like insta love, like I'm so in love with you and we've only really spoken for like a day, and I just didn't like it. So that is that. That's all I'm going to tell you. Essentially, it's just about them sneaking around like behind everybody's backs trying to figure out if they can be together, if their parents are getting married, and her parents and I think, well, her mum and his dad are like relatively well off. He's obviously really well known in his hockey career, so it's almost like they can't be too public about it. I just didn't love it, so I gave it a 2-star, which is a shame because the second book in this series was so good. So if you take anything from this kind of snippet of this video, the second book is so worth your time. This one, not so much. And the last book I picked up in May was Mixed Signals by B.K. Borison. This book I actually did shock myself with. Now, I gave this one a 3-star, which I feel like when I was first reading this, I was giggling, I was kicking my feet, I was like smiling to myself, and I thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be a 4-star read. It kind of got a little bit boring towards the end, hence why I gave it a 3-star, but what I will say is that this book, it was so cute. That is what I'll say about it. Like, it was so sweet, it was so fun, I was smiling reading it, like the characters were really enjoyable and I loved them. Like, that is something that kind of differentiates this from this, is that the characters in this, I could envision them so well, and they were just so pleasant to read. Do you know what I mean? Like, they weren't annoying, they didn't do anything that really just aggravated me, they just were perfect and I loved them. So this one is about Layla, who essentially is a chef. She owns a bakery at Lovelight Farms, and Caleb is a teacher, and Caleb is so golden retriever, it is unbelievable. But basically what they do is they have this conversation at one point, I can't remember where they end up. I think Layla is on like a really awful blind date and she ends up bumping into Caleb. They already know each other and they basically decide like, why don't we date and we can give each other like reviews on the dates to see where we're going wrong, because neither of them have had any good dates recently. You can kind of see where it's going, like one of them's gonna fall first and it's all kind of, it's an obvious outcome. But it was a really sweet book. It was very like cozy. The found family was really good as well. I will say like this is a series again which I'm never probably going to reread. It's not groundbreaking, it's not anything that I've just absolutely devoured, but what I will say, this one, it was really cozy, really fun, and especially for this time of year I think it's perfect. So that is why I gave it a 3, and I would recommend it to you guys. I think if you guys want a nice romance which has a bit of spice but it's also very found family, cozy, fun, and like you've got a really good kind of world building vibe, this is a really good series to go for. I highly recommend, and yeah, I did really enjoy it. So those are all of the books I read throughout the month of May. I really hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I would love to know down below, what books did you guys read throughout May, or what books did you read that you think I would enjoy? I would love to know down below. Also, if you guys haven't yet subscribed, I would really appreciate it. We are currently on our way to 13,000 of you, so if you guys haven't yet subscribed, please do. I have a giveaway in a video coming so incredibly soon, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. I love you guys so incredibly much. I'm so appreciative of you and I'm so thankful. I'm gonna love you and leave you. Thank you so much for watching and for being here, and I will see you in my next one. Bye guys.